Good morning, everybody. Good
Hey,
morning.
everybody. What's going on? Welcome to TA Week.
We are live from the beautiful Hyatt Regency in San Diego, California. I'm with my man Mike, my man Brian. We are here in the Expo Hall.
Dude, there's nobody with us except for Tracey from Flockity, so we're excited that we got some people have come out to shout out and party with us this morning. Who's ready to party?
I'm ready to party after I get this coffee. I mean, how you feeling, Mike?
I'm great. I'm ready to party. I drank Evan White's coffee this morning, and I'm feeling great.
Well, let's talk for a moment here. We got some new swag over here. Let's give a little shout out to Mike Swag. What do we got going on here?
This is the official shirt for Is This Still a Good Time? The podcast for recruiters hanging on by a thread. I am here at TA Week with a lot of them.
Yes.
I checked an entire suitcase full of them, so I'm just going to be tossing them at people.
Tossing shirts, taking names, that's what we do. Well, we're excited. The vibe is strong, folks. The weather is looking beautiful. There's tons of vendors here. We got a great speaker lineup. I'm going to be moderating on Wednesday. Brian, when are you speaking? What are you doing?
I'm speaking at 3:15 Pacific today. I'm going to be having a conversation with the one and the only Michael Goldberg. We are going to be talking about the no business, because there is no business like no business that I know. Yes, we're in the no business.
You know, I told my wife this. She's like, you're so negative all the time. Why do you say no? I go, it's because what I do for a living. She's like, well, can't you just park it and just say yes? Sometimes I'm like, no.
No, but hold on. So this actually goes back to the criticality of honesty and transparency in recruiting, right?
Yes.
And honesty and transparency in recruiting is the only way we're going to build trust with our candidates. And we're trusted at an all-time low, according to Gartner, their 2025 survey, that 18% of candidates think they're going to hear back from a recruiter.
That's it.
Dude.
We got to do better than that.
We got to do better.
Us as an industry, we have to do better than that. We got to bump that number up from 18. Mike, how do you prepare mentally? You've been in the recruiting business a long time. It's tough to say no. Like, early no's are okay. Those come off the tongue pretty easily. But when you get a candidate to the final round, and listen, most companies, there's only one role open.
Right.
How do you have to prep when you say no? How do you set your mental state?
Yeah, I think that deep it does take the prep. It's a hard call, and I think candidates don't get that. I think they don't understand that, like, yes, it's your life, it's your job, it's your pay. That's harder for you than me. But, like, there's nothing fun about letting you know that news either. So, yeah, sometimes it does take that prep, especially if you're a recruiter who builds those relationships and gets to know people over time, right? And you know what they're going through and you know what the market's like. You've been on the market. I just think...
We've been because we've been there as candidates. We've been there in that spot, and you're waiting for it. You're excited. The anticipation real. I mean, these are life-changing opportunities, especially if you are out of work.
And then you hear nothing. No. Well, I think that hearing nothing is worse than hearing no.
Mm-hmm.
At least if you hear no, you know where you stand. You can have a critical conversation about what you can do better to prepare for next time.
Feedback. I think feedback's another really tough thing that we don't really talk about enough here. And what candidates need to understand, us recruiters, we want to give you feedback. Sometimes we just don't have it. And that could be indicative of a poor hiring process. If we're doing external search, there could be, legal ramifications too. Let's peel back the curtain here. I've had times when I've given candid feedback and it's not received well.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to give it straightforward, tactical, and actionable. What are some of your best practices on giving feedback?
Honestly, I don't. And no, there's a reason. Now, occasionally I will, right? If there is a real feedback to give, if there is a thing you can take this advice, you can apply this to your next interview and it will help you, I will tell you that. But that's not most feedback.
No.
And that's not most reasons you get rejected. Most times people get rejected, it's because there's one opening and there was a dozen great candidates and someone felt like the right role. It's so much more about the person we hired than the person who didn't get hired. And I think that I tell candidates this all the time. You actually don't need the feedback in most of these cases because it's just someone's opinion. Like, you're just letting a hiring manager tell you why they didn't hire you. And then if you take 10 different people's opinions of why they didn't hire you and you try and combine all that in yourself, you become this big mishmash. And the next manager might love the thing the last manager hated, right? It's just
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. How do you give actionable feedback?
I give actionable feedback by pointing people to YouTube. As I say, look, I think this is one area where you could have been a little bit stronger. I've prepared some YouTube videos for you. Like, I go through and I pull up interview loops on the STAR interview process or the STAR plus R so that they can be better for next time. And it's kind of an antiseptic kind of answer, right? But
you're giving them strong to actionable
give them a gift.
advice.
Is like Jim Stroud. Jim Stroud, shout out to Jim. Jim is going to be here today. Is that Jim Stroud taught me that you have to give every candidate that you come in contact with a gift. And
feedback is a gift.
Feedback is a gift. Right? Well, I mean, you and I subscribe to the Gary Vaynerchuk school of self-actualization or self-realization and that criticality there. So I'm with you, bro.
Well, we have a lot to get into today. We're excited. We're waiting for the breakfast to come. This is one of the things about conference. Let's scan around here for a second here. Let's do a quick little walk and talk here. We got some amazing food coming up here. Well, I don't know if it's amazing yet, but we have cage-free San Diego raised eggs. We have, what are these? Heron? Osprey. We have the local one. We have some great friends that are waiting here, but we're going to get into it. And don't forget, folks, we are a podcast. We are on LinkedIn. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. You can follow us all at purpleacornnetwork.com. And let's get on with the headlines. Headlines. Folks, anything could happen here. We're in San Diego. Mike, take it away.
We're back with the headlines now. So this is one we've been talking about a ton. Should I come into the middle? We've been talking about this a ton in the TA world. The AI company Eightfold is being sued for helping companies, as they're alleging, secretly score job seekers. So Eightfold, what it does is it takes data points from all over the internet. It finds candidates at LinkedIn's and portfolios and GitHubs and ranks and scores them based on what the company says. The lawsuit is alleging that everybody should have access to the report that Eightfold creates for you, that it basically is the same kind of law that the Fair Credit Reporting Act goes under.
I was going to say that like you need to know what your social profile is, like from a credit reporting standpoint. Mike, I agree with you point on.
Yeah. And, I would say for most of these lawsuits, most of these AI lawsuits, I think often they wind up overblown. I'm in support of this one. Like, for that reason, I do think you should know what AI is pulling in about you and what it says, because what if something is incorrect out there?
So my question is, I've never used Eightfold, so I don't know, but do I give it permission to access all my social profiles and report back to the customer or report back to the potential employer?
I don't think so, because it's all public information.
Well, then wouldn't that be in violation of the Chicago, Colorado, and the New York City law for automated decision making in
what don't you know, Brian Fink?
Hey man, I didn't play an attorney on TV last night. I know I'm dressed like one today.
You look like an attorney.
I am chasing cars, people. That is what I'm after to do today. But the reality is you've got three jurisdictions that have a very specific understanding of what can be used and what can't be used in a biased environment against the candidate.
Yeah. So I think why it doesn't. Now I'm speaking out of not knowing these laws as well, but I think what it doesn't make decisions, right? What it does is it reports back to the company, and it says, like, here's what we found based on what you've said, based on what you're looking for. We would rank this candidate a 3 out of 5. We would rank them a 4 out of 5. Now you still, as the company, to be in accordance with the law, need to go in, look, agree. Yes, this is a 3 out of 5. We're not going to interview them. Here's why. So it cuts that work out.
So that actually goes to the Chicago law specifically that started the beginning of this year. This Chicago law has ramifications that are extrapolated from the Voting Rights Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, as you suggested, that you cannot judge a candidate that way. So I would think that Chicago and Illinois, that the courts would just be open season for a firm like Eightfold or another firm that's doing something similar.
You're probably right. I mean, I think this is something I think we've all been saying, and you and I talked about this, I think, on my pod, right? Just like the door is open that these lawsuits are going to, in the next couple of years, just pour in.
Well, that's why this case is so critical, too, because it's going to set a precedent out there. But is it a data issue or is it an AI issue? I think we have to really define it. Is it data breach, or are they using AI for the scoring and ranking that is bias-based?
It's access to the data. That's what they're suing for, is access to the data.
So they're using AI as an umbrella here? Is it a scapegoat?
No, I think it's a mode of business. I don't think it's a scapegoat. I think it's actually what's driving the conversation internally in the organization. I think the organization, when they buy into Eightfold, I don't know, I've never purchased Eightfold, but I think that they're looking for something to cut through all the noise and find signal about which candidates they should be talking to and which candidates create a liability for them later down the road.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate here. What's wrong with this?
I don't think there's anything wrong with what Eightfold does. But the thing I agree with is that after Eightfold takes a portfolio of you, puts it all together, it should email you and say, hey, Adam, here's what we pulled about you. We scored you a 3 out of 5. Here's why. Is this all correct?
That second verification to do it with only one way is not right.
Right.
I agree with you. It should be opt-in consent.
Yeah, and that's where the Fair Credit Reporting Act comes in, right? Because when someone runs a credit check on you, you find out what the report is. You can say, well, this wasn't right. I did pay that bill, or whatever it is.
You could dispute elements of it to change the credit scoring.
But when you look at other companies like NVIDIA has you opt in when they're doing this kind of social screening.
Yeah, I mean,
are candidates not opting into the eightfold arrangement because they're just being scored, or is there something that they're not reading in the fine print, kind of a user agreement when they apply for a job through eightfold?
So they're not opting in because they're not applying through eightfold, right? They're applying on the company website. The company has eightfold.
Right.
That then kind of like runs and pulls all the
company
data.
needs to make a disclosure.
It might, and that disclaimer might be buried in when the applicant signs off on terms and conditions, because most people don't read it.
Right.
Let's be real here.
Yeah. Oh, all those apps you downloaded from the App Store? Yeah, whatever, dude.
Just scroll through really quickly. No one. This is scary, folks. This is real time, and I think it's hypercritical right now that this case gets clearly defined and the rules and the guardrails are set in place moving forward. I mean, we could scan around this event right here. There's tons of AI-powered sourcing, screening tools, and to set a precedent now is going to define the future.
I just wonder what jurisdiction.
The definition of precedent.
Yes,
Department of Redundancy Department just called. Yes.
I was wondering what jurisdiction was this lawsuit brought in? Does anybody know?
I think it's California.
Well, California's AI transparency laws haven't taken effect yet, so this would be interesting as to maybe how it defines the law, kind of from a retrofitted action.
Well, Eightfold is in Santa Clara, so they probably filed in the state of California.
Yeah,
where we are now.
Welcome to California. Welcome to TA Week 2026. We're glad you're here. What other headlines do we have popping today?
Wow, what do we have popping today? Well, we have nothing on our docket for today. But what's popping in your headlines? What are we talking?
Pull some guests.
Let's pull some guests. You know what? I'm going to come over here. I'm going to talk to I'm going to talk to the finest dressed man in all of TA land. The MC, the MC who knows it the most. What's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm great. So glad to be back at the event. So glad to be back in San Diego. It's my favorite place on the planet. My
favorite place on the planet. All right. So for the people who don't know who you are, would you share who you are and what awesomeness you bring to this, and that you're not just a sponsor, you're part of the community. Who are you, sir?
So my name's Dwayne Lay. I'm the CXO or CIO, depending on the day, for GBS Worldwide. We're a marketing agency doing employment brand, career sites, media management. My particular role, I'm not a creative. I'm a project manager by training and by trade. So I keep the trains running on time. And I love this event. I love coming here. It's such a great community. We've been here for several years. I think this is my 6th year getting to MC. And we like to come and see what we can do to augment the experience of the people who get to come. Like, this is our community. We've been working in this space for 20 years. Crystal, my wife, is our CEO. She's been in employment brand since it's a thing. And it's just great. And we have great friends here. And it's a great group of people to be around.
All right. So you talk about a great group of people to be around in a community. This is a community that roughly has no boundaries. We have people here from South Africa, like the lovely Vanessa Rath. But when you talk about community in the TA space, what does community mean to you?
Community to me is really about open sharing, right? Okay. Share what you know. I always say, like, it doesn't matter what you're working on. There's somebody here who's either already done it and succeeded or already done it and failed. And either way, you can learn from those people. Likewise, there's going to be somebody here who's about to start a project that you've already done, that you've succeeded or failed. So I make sure to tell our team, like, those business cards we get printed for you for every event, those aren't for you. Those aren't to win lunches at Applebee's. It's to go meet people and share. And people do that very openly here. And I love it. You've got practitioners, you've got vendors, you've got inside people, all just sharing openly and swapping info, which I really, really dig.
Dwayne, speaking of Applebee's, that was not on my bingo card for this morning, but if you were going to go to Applebee's, what would you partake of?
Wings.
Wings?
I'm a pretty solid wing guy. Or nachos, yeah.
Okay, nachos. All right. And we had the Fiesta last night to kick things off. So I think nachos is a nice segue to that as well. Is there any talk that you're looking forward to the most here at TA Week? Because you're the master of ceremonies, you're the master of mirth. What's going on? What are you looking for?
So I believe I'm legally obligated to say I'm looking forward to Crystal's session the most. So she's doing some good stuff when it comes to employment brand. We're going to show off one that we built for Zoom that we're really, really proud of. Like,
Wow.
it's beautiful.
Now, did you guys win an award for that?
We actually
you
won
a lot of awards.
I think we won 4 awards for this one.
Okay, that's awesome.
But outside of that, actually, I'm really looking forward to the opening keynote because we're going to talk about AI, which is one of my big areas of interest. So I want to get into some of those discussions. Like, how's it being used? What are we seeing? Like, I heard you guys talking about the lawsuits, and there's a lot out there. Every company I talk to now, I say, what LLM are you built on? Because nobody's building their own, right? What are you built on? And do you have a black box, or can I drill through that data and find out why you did what you did? And those answers have changed significantly over the last 6 months, which I like. I think it's a good thing.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. All right, let's head back over to the desk. We've got a bottle of wine over here. Who are we toasting
Tracey
to
and I
now?
are eyeballing this wine here. We have a beautiful bottle of Bonanza. It's a California Cab, right? And there's a really interesting story behind this from what I heard, because the founder's parents started Camus Vineyards in 1972, and it started as dad's lunch wine, and they loved it so much that they decided to bottle up, and that's what we have here. Thanks to our friends over at Erin. We want to thank them for hosting us this morning. And speaking of hosting, the hostess with the mostest, Tracey,
Hey,
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Welcome to the morning show.
I know it is early. If you know me, you know this is early.
But you look morning great.
Oh, thank you so much. It takes a lot of work to do this.
It takes.
It should cost $1 billion to look this good.
I know that feeling. I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning to look presentable here. But let's talk a little bit. First and foremost, please tell us who you are and what you do best.
Yeah, I'm Tracey
Over at
Parsons. I am the bringer of sunshine and spice, and I've been in the recruitment marketing space since the late 1900s. So I am older than that wine. Yeah, this is all I do. I wake up every morning and try and find ways to make the job search and hiring more egalitarian.
Well, let's talk about that for a moment here, because I love disruption. I love disruption in this space
Me
too.
too.
I love folks that approach it differently. A lot of people are trying to solve the same problems.
Always.
What problems are you looking to solve and change and do differently with Flockity?
Oh my gosh. Well, so the first problem we're trying to solve is helping people understand that there's no such thing as job search anymore.
What do we call it?
Job discovery.
Da, 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 da.
Da, da, da,
I'll
da.
cue the sound effect. Bring.
Right. So when there's data that constantly tells us that the labor pool, despite what we see in all the news about mass supply and like we're getting thousands of applications, it's the same 28% of people that are actively looking.
Why?
Right? Because
why are they actively looking?
Well, that's the data tells us that 28% of people are actively looking, which as a marketer, that means 72% of people aren't looking.
Those are called passive candidates for anyone out there.
Or just shoppers.
Window shoppers.
Right. They're just they might be open, but they're not looking. And if we are only targeting 28% of the audience, as a marketer, I'd be fired.
Well, what if they're your target market?
If they are your target market,
right? They
aren't.
They are not.
We're the data is showing us over and over again, and we hear complaints from recruiters and hiring managers all the time. We're drowning in applications.
So let's take a moment to have a little origin story here. Let's talk a little bit about why and what you guys started.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, I went to a conference. I took my team to the conference, and this was back when I was working solely with our consultancy. And I was like, "What did you see here?" And they said, we see that we're really far ahead of where everybody else is.
In what aspects?
Modern marketing techniques and really reaching a broader audience. And then I sat down with some of the other OGs that have been doing it since the late 1900s. And I was like, what did you see? And they said, I saw the same 10 people talking about the same 10 things we've been talking about for 10 years.
What did we actually talk about? Wait, I need a quick historical point here. Here's a fun fact. What did we actually talk about before AI? I forgot. Like, what were the issues before we talked about AI?
It was emailing candidates.
Inclusion.
It was emailing candidates. It was texting candidates.
How to break through the inboxes.
Right. How to break through the inboxes. And we just kind of look at each other and shook our heads like, we've been talking about this for 10 years. Like talent pools and talent networks and talent communities. And we were still talking about it 10 years later. I was like, you guys, there are big problems in this space that need to be solved that are outside of this box.
So we start to tap into this concept of community. Where does the idea for Flockity come from?
Well, I come from consumer marketing. And I saw a slew of data and research that said the CMO's number one tactic in the world 2 years ago, was influencer and affiliate marketing. And I looked at my partner, I was like, why don't we have that? Why doesn't that exist here? And he looked at me dead ass and he was like, it has to. That's stupid. because he came from e-commerce, he came from outdoor, and he was like, this has to exist. I'm like, it doesn't. He's like, well, I'm building that tomorrow. And so, and so that's
Great ideas are born.
right. We started building it over the summer of 2023, ran a stealth beta in late 23. It absolutely hit product market fit on January 2nd of 2024 when all of our customers' clicks were exhausted in 36 hours.
Time and place. So let's
Right.
unpack the concept here for everyone who's not familiar.
Absolutely. The concept is influencer marketing for jobs. So essentially we have a large network of trusted creators who've been vetted and pre-vetted and continuously vetted, sharing jobs for our customers on their public social profiles.
So it's a distribution play.
It is a distribution
with curated creators, trusted names.
Yes, trusted names, micro influencers, right? There might be a creator out there who is talking about being a great software engineer on TikTok that has like a couple thousand followers. We go snag them up and they start distributing jobs for our customers. We are expanding the platform and we are launching it this week.
Breaking news.
Bop. And we are getting into 2 new product lines. One of them is called Flockity Plus, where it includes user-generated content, so UGC. And the other one is Linkity, which is a...
Linkity Dinkity or just Linkity?
Just Linkity.
Okay, just sure.
Linkity. It's a little kitty that's friend with our little Flockity bird.
Oh, you're creating a community of pets.
Yes, a community of pets.
Oh, I love it.
And Linkity is about activating internal influencers. So think employee ambassadors.
I love this.
And it automates link sharing on a proprietary link in bio.
As Joel, our other co-host who's en route here, says all the time, your best recruiters at any company are your internal employees. So 100%. How do you activate them? How do you utilize them? And I talk about this with my friends all the time. Yeah. I love hearing when someone says they love their job. Guess what, folks? There are people out there who actually love their job. But you don't have to love your job. But if you love your job, you want to work with people who you like, but you have to be careful there too, because it's not about people you like, because you don't want to create a like bias per se.
Agreed.
But you want to be able to spread the good word of your company to attract the right people, because if the right people are working there, rising tides lift all ships, and everyone's happy to be there.
Absolutely. So Linkity is that opportunity to activate those internal influencers and automate it, right? Because if I work with a company, that's not my job. That's not my full-time job.
Correct.
Right? But my full-time job is maybe sharing on the internet about what makes my full-time job awesome. And then I can drive people to a link in bio which has jobs for my company and you can come work with me.
It's
so bone stupid. I know, it's so bone stupid simple.
So let's talk about the post and pray eulogy. Could you give it to us? Do you have is it like memorized?
No, it's not. Okay. But I've always believed, and this is going to be really funny coming from me, I've always believed in the advertise last model.
Meaning?
Okay. So you have an applicant tracking system most of the time, right? Most enterprises have an applicant tracking system. You know that 28% I was talking about?
Right.
They're all already in there, right? So if you can, and your internal employees. So you start with your internals who can do this job when you have a new rec.
It's called mobility, folks.
Right. You post that job internal, then you post it, and then you start sourcing from your employee pool. And then if you can't find anybody there, then you source from your ATS. And if you can't find any slates in those first 2 steps, then you advertise.
Why?
And post and pray is the laziest freaking thing I can imagine.
It's lazy.
And it's not, it doesn't work. It is, the noise is so huge.
Pipelines.
It jams up pipelines because again, you are going and posting where people are already searching as opposed to people who are discovering.
I say that, and amen to this. You're preaching to the choir here. There's so much gold, not just with your internal employees, but in your ATS system. These are people who are already interested, predisposed. Yes. And we're not talking about the fraudulent applications. The actual qualified applications, these are people that are actually interested in your company. There's folks in there that have made it through the interview process that maybe got to the finish line and it was a tough decision. They went with somebody else.
Yes.
And companies don't look in their ATS first. Now, listen, there's some laws in place where you have to post externally, even if you're hiring
100%.
Internally, but we're not specifically talking about that.
No, just this is a rule of thumb, right? Find internal, use your ATS, and if you can't find anybody there, then you advertise. But you have to advertise. Look, most of our recruitment marketing budgets sit in the apply,
right?
Like it sits mid-funnel.
Or pay-per-click, yeah.
There's nothing top funnel going on. So how does somebody become aware of a brand, even if it's a brand I'm a customer for? Like I remember a conversation that I was having with a recruiting leader at Tiffany & Company.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Tiffany & Company. If you would like to send me any
for new
jewels.
Sponsors over here,
if
the
you would
morning
like
show
to
and the
send me any
podcast are
jewels.
looking for. My wife could use something for Valentine's.
Hello. But the conversation went, we can't find people that want to work at Tiffany, even in the retail side. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, they don't think to work for Tiffany. they think of us as a brand an aspirational brand that they want to shop at. They don't think about, and
That's so interesting. I
it
never even
is.
thought about that.
No, it
These
is, because
aspirational brands that you're like, I want to, only a few people like, I want to work at a Tiffany's.
I want to work at Apple. I want to work at
Mm.
Netflix. I want to work for Beyonce. Also, Beyonce, if you're listening.
I mean, you want to I could text her.
Please do text Beyonce. But there are aspirational brands, but as consumers, we have different aspirational brands. We don't think to work there. And that's why top of the funnel is so important.
And then if you see folks that work at these companies posting online and they're posting about jobs, and you could click through with Linkity.
Yeah.
I'm just predisposed to saying Linkity Dinkity because I've been saying that for a long time. But Linkity, I love this concept. I love this idea. Tracey, anything else that's on your mind that you want to unload at 7? I don't even know what time it is this morning.
It's a time.
Yeah.
One thing I heard you guys talking about trust in the opening.
Okay.
We have to fix trust. It's broken. And I know that we know what our issues are. Like, we always talk about, like, fraudulent applications and drowning in applications. And so infrequently do we think about how the other side of the audience is feeling. And that other side of the audience, and we know what we're drowning in, like the AI lawsuits and the things like that. They're drowning in negative messages. They're drowning in ghost jobs. They're drowning in there needs to be a bridge between what we know and what candidates know, and to help bridge that gap. That's one of the things that we're trying to accomplish, right? And helping them understand what we do in TA and help TA understand what job seekers need.
Well, that's what this show's all about. That's what my co-hosts, Joel, Danielle, Mike, Mr. Brian Fink over there, we're trying to spread the good word as conduits of truthful information out there. And that's what this show is about. Tracey, where could folks find you? Where could they connect? Where could they learn more?
Find me on LinkedIn, Tracey Parsons, bringer of sunshine. And Flockity.com is where you can learn more about Flockity and the launch of our new products.
Awesome.
Thanks
Tracey,
so
thank you so much. We have our next guest coming up here. 1 second. We're going to hand it over.
We're gonna do a swap.
Let me get you guys queued up over here.
Dun dun dun.
Gonna stick around as well.
I'm going to come on the side over here.
It's all live, fellas.
Okay, my name is Brian Fink, and I'm not going to do a live demo of the one tool that I've used to build my business right now, but I'm going to introduce you. Yeah, I'm going to introduce you to Conor Kline, the VP of Sales, the host with the most, with the team over at Penn. Is that the right introduction, host with the most?
Yeah, I think 1A is to really build the world's best sourcing platform. I think 1B in terms of my priorities these days is becoming the world's best party planner, and that's really what we're trying to do here.
Okay, let's talk about this party. There is a rumor that there is going to be a monolithic, or I should really say prehistoric party this evening with a dinosaur. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because I don't think these things fit together.
Yeah, it is a bit of a stretch to bring up to bring a dinosaur to a party, and it has nothing to do with Penn by any means, but we've got some friends in high places that have access to a 50-foot Brachiosaurus inflatable balloon. And so when you have a friend like that, you bring them. So we will be hosting a party tonight with a massive dinosaur.
So Conor, as much as I'd like to talk about the dinosaur, and you say that the dinosaur in the room is not what we're supposed to talk about, I like to think that you guys are the best kept secret in talent acquisition today. You want to tell us a little bit about Penn and what you're doing that is really transcending the conversation, I'm going to let you go for it, because I could sit here and demo this product all day long because I'm a Penn-head. I'm a member of the Church of the Penn-heads, right?
Yep.
Conor, what does Penn do for somebody like me, a solopreneur, or somebody who's got a talent team of 100 people?
Yeah, I mean, I think even before that, we don't want to be the world's best kept secret anymore. And I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping the ship steady for the last year and not really doing a whole lot of marketing and kind of just bringing people in like you that are early adopters and helping shape the platform. We're now in the mode where we're about to turn it from 0 to 100. We want to get this into everybody's hands as soon as possible. And the reason being is we're really building Penn to be the world's best sourcing platform. For years, we've had, pretty limited options when it comes to locating the right kind of talent.
So it's not that we just have limited options, right? So you guys know me, I'm a big sourcer, I'm a big Boolean expert and what have you. That's right. I called myself an expert. Next thing I'll say is I'm a thought leader in search optimization. But the reality of it is that I can go into Penn and I can go through 100 LinkedIn profiles, 100 GitHub profiles, 100 X.com or Twitter, because I worked at Twitter, so I call it Twitter.
Shout out.
Profile, shout out to the to the family. Always a tweet, much love. But I can be in multiple places all at the same time. How is that an advantage for a recruiter or a sourcer? Forget about being a solo entrepreneur, to be in all those places and to economize that time.
Yeah, I mean, what I always like to tell people is like, Pin's goal is to honestly be an Iron Man suit for a recruiter.
Love that.
Right? Because think about it, like so many people are trying to build like agents and like these bots that'll go do everything for them. But if you sit at any conferences like the one that we're at today, everybody always has the same thing to say, which is you got to keep the human element in recruiting, right? Like we want to be a part of that movement, right? Like we are not here to build a replacement for a sourcer by any means, but what we want to do is we want to take that ability for humans to use their judgment and then apply it to the sourcing element to very quickly identify people. And look, for years, like you've had to go through, to your point, multiple different platforms in order to find the right kind of people and like locate a keyword here or there. Technology's too good now, right? And so what we're doing is we are consolidating information from all of these different locations and then putting it into our own model on our end, right? So gone are the days, and I'm sorry, I know you're a Boolean string expert / thought leader / whatever else. But that being said, though, we don't really need to rely on that kind of technology anymore.
No.
AI is here. Right. So we may as well use it for good, right? Parse through all this information in a blink of an eye and then just deliver people that are actually a good fit for the job.
Okay. So I want to come back to a conversation we were having at the top of the show about delivering people that are a good fit for the job.
Yeah.
Penn doesn't make the decision about who's a good fit. That's still a human in the loop.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Because people get all obsessed about AI. And I want to make sure that our listeners, everybody who's listening, understands that Penn is not the judgment tool. Penn is actually the tool that rediscovers those candidates in your networks. It discovers candidates that are outside of your network. It makes that warm connection. And that's actually one of my favorite things because it's got an AI filter. Am I giving away too much secret sauce?
There's no sauce.
Okay, there's no sauce.
Anyone can use it.
Okay.
There's a free trial on our website. So,
All right. So one of my favorite things about Penn is it takes all the research and time that I would take to crafting the perfect email message, and it sends it out to the candidate on my behalf. Mm-hmm. And it does so in a way that isn't antiseptic. It isn't germane. It's very specific. It calls out their research papers. It really gets at the heart of the matter and engages the candidate. And I mean, like, I can't tell you how many candidates I've had come back and say, Brian, you really did your research. This was really, of course I want to talk to you, right?
Yeah.
And my entire team is using it now. We're super excited about it. What's on the roadmap ahead? I know Erica's over there. Hey, Erica, let's look at Erica, everybody.
This is our head of growth over here.
Yeah. So
mastermind.
What's on the roadmap that you can talk about?
It's going to be a boring answer for you.
Oh.
But it's not boring for me. What I'll tell you is we've raised a fair bit of money at Penn. We're at the point now where we're making good money. We got a lot of customers. We are taking every dime of that money and putting it directly back into our sourcing engine. Because think about it like this. For years, right, we've always had all these companies trying to like beat out like LinkedIn and Indeed, right? No one's really been able to crack it. And so where you've got all these other platforms trying to go so horizontally, so fast and building out like a little doohickey here and there, we'll probably get there in the future. That's not really where we want to be right now, though. Like our whole goal is to hyperfixate on sourcing. If we can become the one place where without a blink of an eye, someone says, oh, I need to go find the most like convoluted, background of all time. I got to go to Penn really quick. Then we will start to build other stuff. But until we get to the point where we absolutely smoke everybody else, every dime is going to source.
Okay. So when you talk about that I love that. And I immediately think of a search that I'm working on right now, where instead of me having to type in K8 or Kubernetes or EKS, it just knows
quotation.
Yeah, it just knows, and it intuitively. So when you get inside a Penn, it's going to give you a checklist of how the candidate matches up with those qualifications, and it's going to say they have this skill set, and this skill set is closely related to a preferred skill set that you're looking for, and it gives recruiters not only a sense of empowerment, like you said, that Iron Man suit, but it gives us a sense of intelligence. It really up-levels our game. So I'm really grateful to you, Conor, and the team at Penn for what you've built. and how it's really pushing our profession forward.
Well, look, we're super pumped to have people like you on our platform pushing us forward every day here ourselves. So thanks for being a part of the team.
All right, let's go to Adam. Adam, what's going on? Let's go to Mike. All right, let's go.
Well, we're not wrapping yet here. We're going to do a quick little segment here.
Because we said it was going to be good, but we didn't know.
Well, we have a new segment here, and I talk about this all the time. One of my favorite foods, I have to give a shout out to my friends over at Transform, because the Transform box lunch is one of my favorite lunches and all. And they also give full-size candy and snack bars over there.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to do something a little bit different. For the first time ever, we're going to do a live food review. You guys know the rules. One bite only. Mike, what do we have here?
I have a egg, hash brown, and bacon burrito.
Okay, and the second
I
one
believe
we
the
got
other
here?
one is an egg, ham, and potato hash burrito.
Okay, which one do you want to go first?
I'm going the bacon one.
All right, one bite. You can do the rules.
Cholula, obviously.
Does that throw you off, though?
No.
Doing the hot ones?
One bite.
That's actually really good.
Wow, there you have it,
It's like
folks.
well toasted. The eggs it's just good. You should take a bite.
Are they regular eggs or are they powdered eggs? Can you tell yet?
They are cage-free farm eggs.
Well, we're in San Diego. It's going to be natural. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. We want to thank Alan back in New York in the production truck, my cameraman, your friend Evan White over here. We want to thank our friends over at Erin. Remember, we're here every Tuesday morning. This is the HR Morning Show. I want to thank my man Brian Fink, Mike Petito. This is TA Week. This is the HR Morning Show, and we're out.